Welcome to Film Study, an all American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi, and today we are reviewing season 4, episode 3, All I Need. Um, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of those lovely things. Let's get into it. Carmen,
Yes,
thank you for coming on to help me uh, to help me review the show.
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
You know, before we get into the episode, Spencer said something in the episode where he's like, "Oh, he asked Liv, is she a robot? Right? I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot." And so, and we admit that there are several people celebrating right now. Several people wanted to see my downfall, but you know what?
Don't give it to them. Don't give it
No,
to them.
no, 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 because the battle may have been lost, but
A
the
lot.
war
The war. It's not over. It's not over. It's
is
not
not.
over. It's
Uh,
not.
so with that being said, what were your overall thoughts?
I I love the episode. I mean, other
I'm
than
glad you did.
other than the little hiccup that we shall wait to talk about, I loved it.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I I thought the episode was a solid episode. I did not appreciate all of the storylines, but I thought the episode was a solid. Well, and actually, no, no, no. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back. I thought the
Mhm.
episode was like good. It was okay. It was okay. I wasn't like wildly ecstatic about it. Um, I I thought the episode was a solid episode, but it just left me with more questions than answers. And I thought a couple episodes in that I would sort of get what the theme of the season was going to be. And I don't know
Mhm.
if I've gotten that theme. And it's like just, questions like where's Patience? Where's JJ? He's supposed to be a regular. Like where's Simone? So just yeah, just
Well, we
keep
got
players missing.
patience. We got patience. The last two episodes.
Yeah, no, I know, but she's also like she's a main. So
Okay.
for me, obviously, like Spencer and Olivia, which we'll get to a second, that was a great highlight of an episode. But um, the rest, the sort of storyline that we're not going to talk about at this second, and
Mhm.
like the preach stuff, you already know. I just am not a fan of the preach daughter storyline, and so it just felt like let's say I feel like there were like four storylines. So I'm like say I'm gonna if the A and B storyline were like Spolivia and the Toledo stuff, uh the other like the secondary storylines weren't doing it for me.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So and I think that's really what it was. Besides Spencer and Olivia, like I just want the show to find its footing.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll get into what that means. But we start out sort of like Spencer's jogging, and he's about to find out some news from the coach at Toledo. But we're gonna
Uh huh.
pause on that for a second. We're gonna pause on that big storyline for a second, and we're gonna fast forward a little bit to preach.
Yes. Preach. And this
Yeah, we're
daughter.
and his daughter, which again, I'm just not like it's. Oh, why is this something that we're watching?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they intended it to be like interesting, but I'm really not interested in it. Like,
And that's what I'm saying. It's like even for Coop, obviously it's new in the sense that she's interacting with his daughter now, but it just feels like we got this with Sean. Like we got this with like the Tyrone storyline. We got it last season. Like when is Pre or when is Coop gonna get something new? And Preach's daughter isn't it.
Exactly, because I swear it seemed like they're heading towards like the daughter's going to be a problem now, and I'm like, look,
How is
I'm
little
tired
girl
of the
gonna be a
whole
villain?
family.
They literally are setting her up.
You heard what she said. If my uncle Tyrone, I didn't even know she knew Tyrone. Like,
Exactly.
I'm
I thought
tired of
she
the
was
whole
away from the gang
family.
life.
Exactly. I'm tired of the whole family. I'm tired of the
And
whole family.
thank you. So now you're seeing why I'm just like it just wasn't
Like,
doing it for me apart from a couple of things because it was just like what is the purpose of
right?
this storyline?
Yeah, it's like let Tyrone just be dead already. Give us a new problem.
Exactly.
Give us a new
Give Coop a
problem.
new problem. Like
Yes.
having her challenge be with music is something that like might like actually be interesting, but keeping
Hmm.
her involved in this like oh
Tyrone
like
family.
like exactly keeping her connected to Tyrone for the fourth season in a row is not doing it.
Exactly. And
She
I still
literally
don't
said,
understand
Coop
it.
said, we got problems. I'm like, I've heard we got problems every single season at this point.
Exactly.
In that exact same, no, let me not say that. But like, it sounds super familiar. And she was just like,
And
fine, I'll stay out of your life, preach. I'm like, we've heard that twice before too.
exactly. And I don't understand the Tyrone drag out because at the end of the day, Coop did not kill Tyrone. Sean
Exactly.
mother killed Tyrone. So why is it being drug out this long? Why is her vengeance against Coop? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And like, what truly, like, how old is she? 11 or something? What can an
Yes.
11-year-old do? Are she really gonna go to the police and be like, oh, I found out that Coop shot my mom? Like, or I
No.
found out that my dad shot my mom. Like, it's not,
Exactly.
it's not
Exactly.
doing it for me. It's not doing it.
Exactly. Where's Dylan? She need a friend. Dylan? No, never
Don't
mind. Never
know.
mind.
She just needs
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
off
you
the
right.
show. I'm
You right.
sorry.
You right. I'm
You
sorry,
know,
Dylan. I'm sorry, Dylan. I apologize. That was not right. No.
blessings in your career, the girl who plays Amina. You're serving looks, you're serving what you're supposed to be serving, but this storyline is not doing it for me.
It's not. I'm over it. Let it go.
I wanted to start out on a high point and that was not it. But anyway, so that was that was preach. Um Jordan, which to and shout out to Monda. I'm gonna keep a tally of all of the predictions Monda and I have made that have turned out to
Hmm.
be correct. Preacher's daughter was one of them, and Coop being involved, and etc. etc. Um, one of the predictions I said last week is that Jordan's gonna be upset because he hasn't gotten any offers, and we saw that. Literally started out first cut is him um, showing his dad like a little highlight reel that he and Montez had put together. Um,
Hmm.
and you know he basically finds out that Montez is coaching the All American game from Billy. Suddenly, he's admitting that Crenshaw won the state championship.
Right? When he spun all last episode saying that no, they won. They won. Even when Spencer caught him out on it, like, like he still said they
It's
won. Even when
and it,
Olivia called him out that they didn't win, he still didn't say that they really didn't win. So I don't know.
exactly. So it's just you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of last season when he was just like, I know you and Layla are in game. Like and then he the next time we saw him, he was like, have you talked to Spencer yet? Like, I don't why
Exactly.
are they giving him these moments that like he's just it is consistent with his character, I guess, but it's just like he's not
Is it? Is it
he's not
consistent?
dumb in that way. Like I don't like I don't know.
It doesn't even seem like he dumb. It seemed like whoever he's talking to, like it feel like he said it for Billy benefit. I'm not sure if that was the purpose. Like he
Yeah.
said it for his dad because
Yeah,
when he's
maybe. I
talking
don't
to
know. But
everybody
he
else,
seemed
he
pretty
did it.
sincere. I don't know. It was
Mm,
just weird. It was like maybe the whole thing with his dad. But I when he has these big moments of change, I just want to see like the the writers like take the viewers through that change. Like it's not clear to
Exactly.
just like have this line of thought and then him come the next week and say like something completely different. Like can we see the change? Like can we see him working up to that process of change? Anyway,
Yes, I agree. How did he get here? How did he go from bragging?
I truly like I thought it was a well written episode, so this is not for me to like come for the writers, but anyway, so that was uh something. Um and basically what he found out was that, from Montez, that he had two concussions, same season. D1 schools don't want that. Billy talks about junior college. He's on board. They figure out a way, or he ends the episode with Montez giving him some junior colleges to
Hmm.
consider, and working him potentially into the All American game, even though he's like far down on the depth chart.
Yes.
So, which it's sorry to stick on that point for a second. For a second, before Billy talked about junior colleges, I was just like, has he not? Has he not just gotten offers like from junior colleges at all? Like that's what I was just like. He was like, I want to go to a D1 school, and I'm like, okay, but have you not gotten offers from D2 schools? Are they just not mentioning offers from D2 schools? Because I'm that's really confusing to me.
Yeah, it wasn't clear if he just was like referring to offers from D1 school or if he had no offers at all. Because we only
Exactly. And
heard
same with
about,
Spencer. Like we're only hearing about
yeah,
this one offer, but like is that just D1 schools? Where are all of the D2 schools that I'm sure are sending him loads of information?
yes.
Yeah. So that's obviously they're going to try to like address that and in the show, and
Hopefully.
still hopefully still
Hopefully.
holding on to some stuff for some drama purposes, because it is a drama. Um, but yeah, that was just something that was interesting to me, and I'm glad that Billy ended up mentioning junior college. Uh, and speaking of Billy Baker,
Ugh, being head. That's just ugh. Whew, that man just made me so angry this episode. Now he's the one that just I didn't give him all of my energy, but it was like, Billy, really? Say he was still on his like just awkwardness towards Spencer in the beginning. It's
right,
like, really?
right, right. I don't know why I'm choosing this moment to say this, but do you know what I did after like watching this episode? Usually I'm like scrolling on Twitter, which I did do, right? But
Yes.
I actually sat down and did like my work, and for the like my actual like work my real life job. This episode made me so sad that I actually did my real life job.
Oh my gosh. I'm done. I am done. It was not dang. Okay. Okay. All American drove you to doing your actual work, like your
Yep.
livelihood. Okay, gotcha. Wow.
Pulling up that Microsoft Excel. Like, let's
Oh
go.
my god. It was a good episode. Lexi, no, I like,
It
to
was a
me
good
it was.
episode.
It was a good
Listen,
episode with
like I said, the high points to me were the Spencer and Olivia storyline, and like Jordan, I think was a good storyline as well. The other ones, and so anyway, Billy and Spencer were awkward,
yes, Billy and
and
Spencer was awkward.
right. So we saw them in the hallway and different things like that. And Spencer again sort of tried to go up to him and say like thanks, because Billy had signed off on his
Early
Toledo
graduation. Hmm.
right early graduation thing, which we had mentioned at the top, that like the coach came, offered Spencer this like early spring thing, and Billy and Carter signed off on it because he has enough credits. So Spencer tried to thank him for that, and he still it was very just still awkward, right? And as we know, Spencer's trying to like just move on, like be around the people that want to be around him. Um, so we see him talking to his mom. I think that this would have been a good episode for Dylan to be in. And maybe my thoughts on this episode were just that it was like, it felt a little incomplete to me.
What do you mean? Dylan should have been where and with what him and
Like
Grace?
in the episode, right? Like celebrating with Grace and Spencer. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, uh, and I understand like actors availability and all of that stuff, but and maybe I haven't been able to like put into words what why I didn't connect as strongly to this episode. The non Bolivia parts, but
Mm-hmm.
it literally, I just feel like it felt like incomplete, and maybe besides the Jordan
Listen,
storyline and all of the other phases.
I do agree with the absence of Dylan, and I feel like if it's because the actor couldn't be there, I feel like we should get an explanation to where Dylan is at. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right,
make up something. Say Dylan went on a camping trip with some, like I don't know. Just make up a reason to where is Dylan at in this moment.
right, right. Like we got for JJ.
Yeah, he's out of town. Exactly. Like and
He's at summer camp, or sorry, not summer camp. I don't know. He's like away for the week. I don't know,
it's
but
something. He spent a night at a friend's
something.
house. Something. He went somewhere.
Exactly, exactly. So we got like a Grace, we got some Grace and Spencer moments, and that was cute.
Yes, I loved it. I
This is
loved it.
something that I've wanted, right? Is like
Mhm.
Grace and Spencer talking about Olivia, Grace and Spencer talking about his future. But again, I don't. Maybe it's because I hyped it up in my mind, but it was just interesting, right? So anyway, we get them going on this little like mini golf little outing. Grace beat him. It was really cute. She did a little dance, and she's just like asked him about what's going on with him and Billy. Um, and basically, obviously, Spencer tells her what's going on. She then goes to Billy, and as we knew, right, as we predicted,
She is go
uh,
in. She goes in.
yeah, she goes in on Billy, and rightfully so. And Billy ends up saying that he's like, it was sort of like a jealous, I guess,
Jealous. That's exactly what it was. He was
that
jealous.
that Spencer was adequately training Jordan, and
No,
that
he
Jordan
was
looked better.
jealous that Spencer was more successful at being dead to his children than he was. Period.
But I'm not even gonna give him that much credit. I do think, because what is Billy's MO? Like, he thinks about football constantly. So what did
Mhm.
he talk about? He said uh Jordan is playing better than he ever had. Like, that's like the first thing that
Yeah.
came out of his mouth. So it
And
wasn't
he
even,
didn't get the
I
credit
can't even
for it.
say, and I can't even like, that's what I'm saying. I can't even say it was about being a dad in quotation marks. I can't even give him credit to saying like, oh, I wasn't like in my child's life. It was like I wasn't in my child's life, and specifically like not a good coach to
Yeah.
him. Like,
I didn't make him the better player. Spencer.
exactly.
I coached him for almost 4 years and he didn't become the better player that he came overnight with just training with Spencer. That's all.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's just like, you should have known that from season one, because Willie was coaching him and he was playing better. Like,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean,
Because the truth is exactly what Jordan say. He don't believe that Jordan could be this great player. He doesn't. I
exactly.
don't feel like Billy actually believes that his son
Oh no, yeah.
believes it.
When he was
And
like
so
talking about the highlights, I was like, okay, you don't sound believable, but okay.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, anyway, basically he admitted that it was about him and Grace. I loved that Grace did this. Admitted that she said, "You have made mistakes. We have made mistakes
Yes.
together. We
And he
almost
has
broke up two families." And I'm like,
yes.
finally,
Yes. Somebody remind
finally.
him. Yes.
Well,
I like how
remind
she
her
came in.
too.
But
And
wait,
remind her
I like how she came in. When she came in and had Jordan, even Jordan looked scared. Like
too.
she came in like one of the black moms and you was in trouble. Like she came in, Jordan got out of there. Jordan got out of there. And I
Right,
was like,
right.
yes, Grace, go get him. Serve him because Billy have lost his mind times 10.
And that's true, and all of that stuff. But here's the thing for me, I don't feel like that conversation, as a viewer, I don't feel like that conversation warranted Grace letting him off as easily as she let him off. And I don't think that that conversation warranted everything just being cool by the end of the episode, because
Oh yeah, I
Billy did
definitely feel
not
like she.
apologize.
I
He
definitely feel
literally
like
indirectly.
yeah. I definitely feel like he still didn't. He still didn't fix it. He fixed it, and the way he fixed it was crappy. Like
But
I
that's
would.
what I'm saying. He did
Yes,
this little roundabout apology, inviting everybody on the team. Which, by the way, where was Chris? But inviting everybody on the team and like
Chris
making them like
Jabari.
little like Crenshaw championships rings, and then saying family and I'm always more than a coach. Blah, blah, blah. Like say that to Spencer's face directly, one on one.
Exactly. Just like you've
It
been
was such
disrespecting
a
him.
cop out.
Yep. But it's Billy. It fit Billy. That's Billy. That's what
it,
Billy
it
does.
it it does fit Billy, but felt it still felt incomplete. And like, okay, hear me out. Like, yes, it does fit Billy, but also I feel like in season one we've seen Billy not necessarily admit that he's done anything wrong, because that's not what I'm saying, but like
Mhm.
speak to somebody face to face about his issues and be like, yeah, I did it, and so what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least that was like still face to face, but this whole little roundabout situation, and then being like, by the end of the episode, yeah, I get to coach my boys one more time. Like, what?
Yes. And I honestly I'm sick of how easily
He
everyone
gets
let Billy,
off.
yes,
He gets off
everyone's let
so
Billy,
much.
Laura, his kids, like when is he actually going to feel his choices? Like
But
it's
and
just
that's
I'm
what I'm
sick of it.
saying. Like,
I'm
he did
sick of
not,
him.
and that is again why I felt like I didn't realize it until this podcast, but that's why I felt like the episode was like incomplete, because this was their opportunity
Where was
to let
GW?
Billy
We
ex-
need GW. GW let him have it. GW is the only one that calls him out and doesn't hold back. Like
right, right,
GW.
right, right. So that was that whole situation, but we're glad that Grace gathered Billy and all that stuff. I still think she let him
Yes.
off too easy. Billy doesn't deserve this, but Montez invited him to help her out at the All American game. Earlier, Montez also, right, invited somebody else. She invited Asher to help her out.
Mhm.
And he, like he did the last episode, was very, like, just mopey and saying, like, no, that it's just going to be too hard. We saw this last week where he was just like, football is just, it's too hard to be around right now. So we see him trying to apply. That's what he said. Anyway, so we see him after his scholarship is rescinded from Coastal California. We see him talking about, oh, I don't think that's the program for me now, or that's not the school for me um, because I'm not. I wanted to go with football, and now I don't have football anymore. So anyway, he's at the shop. He's at the hangout, and
Mhm.
he's like writing essays for the
For
for
college.
admissions. Yeah, for
Mhm.
admissions, I'm assuming. Which, pause. I don't know why he acted like this one essay was like for every college that he was applying.
Maybe he was gonna send it to every college.
He was just gonna write this one thing and like that's it. I'm done. Anyway, he runs into Layla,
Mhm.
who uh actually at the top, right, had been very frustrated, and we saw hints of this last episode. She was dealing with the fact that Coop just hasn't been performing up to standards. Coop's been missing
In
studio times
action.
and studios.
Mhm.
Yep, as she always as she always is.
Exactly. It's always
and so
about
she
just Coop. It's always about Coop.
and so she summoned Preach, and she's just like, Preach comes at her sideways, like, I don't appreciate being summoned, but it's just like, if you're her manager, and I
I'm
don't
tired
even
of
know
Preach. I'm
why
tired of Preach. Obviously, he just don't need this position because he does
he's
when it
always
comes.
complaining.
Exactly. He's turning into a whining complainer, and I'm tired of him. Like, I used to like Preach, but lately he's on my nerves. and
Yeah.
I just want to put him in the garbage.
Same. And it's also like to bring this back around, before we get back to like where we are at this point in the story. He's like tells Coop, right? Oh, I don't appreciate like being summoned to a studio and then having to lie for you. Why would you lie for her anyway? Just tell Layla the truth. Like, Layla is over here talking about how you've both lost money. I understand his loyalty and all that or whatever, but
Yeah,
you don't have to lie. Like, you could have just said, right? I don't know. To me, I like that's
I get why I get. He didn't really lie. He just pretty much didn't tell her because he didn't lie. He even said he don't think Coop gonna get back into the. But
evading the truth.
yes, but it's not.
Lie
It
by
wasn't.
omission.
It wasn't his job. Like Coop should not. That should never been his
Well,
job.
no, that's not necessarily true because he's her manager.
Yeah, but you already know he doesn't like. He don't care for Layla. That's clear. So he definitely not gonna tell her. But
But I'm saying, like, as his manager, managers are spokespeople on behalf of their clients all the time. That
mhm,
says like my client has chosen to do X, Y, Z, and yeah, just to me, him saying like as upset as he was, or pretending to be upset or whatever as he was at Coop at that little table, like
mhm.
at that point, just don't lie then.
Yeah, but it was still at the, like it was still made clear that Coop wasn't ready to tell Layla whatever it was. So he was, even as her manager. If you instruct your manager not to do something, they supposed to not do it.
That's true. It just seemed to me that he was just doing that just because. Like, it didn't seem like Coop. It just seemed like Coop was dodging sort of everybody. Because I think
Mhm.
even Spencer mentioned it. He said you're dodging your producer, your manager, and your girlfriend. So
Well,
she just wasn't
I don't see how she was dodging her manager if she was keeping her manager kid.
That's true, but I don't it didn't seem like they were on the same page either.
Well, are they ever really more than 5 seconds?
That's a whole other story in and of itself. But yeah, so anyway, that whole thing, so she's already frustrated about that. She's like, on her new stuff and trying to go get this new artist. And so she talks about how she's proud of Asher um
How he's
for
handling.
not spiraling,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
okay. Okay. That's not what I witnessed on my screen, but proud of Asher for not spiraling. And Asher says this whole little mantra about how he's lost so much in the past 18 months, his first love, his football,
The
etc., etc.,
moment the
etc.
moment he said that first love line, I knew I was not gonna like what's gonna happen on my screen. I was like,
Oh, same.
I
People,
hope he's talking about football, but I knew he was talking about football. I
I
wanted him
knew
to
he
talk
wasn't
about
talking about
anything.
football. A ton of people thought he was referring to Liv. I never thought he was referring to Liv.
How? Not 18 months ago.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, in the storyline of the show, it's only been a little over a year. Like, apparently it's spread. So I guess they did some sort of
Yeah.
time jump. It's spring now, but if you remember, spring is like the start of the second season.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's only a year. So you think 18 months, that's over half a year. So it has
Yes.
to be Layla. But anyway,
Layla.
so
It has to be Layla.
I too was like, "Where, sir? You have to be talking about football because I know you're not talking about Layla because even though I know you are talking about Layla, you did not love that girl. Get out of here. Get out of here." Um,
He said he loved her. He said he loved her.
I don't
He loved it.
believe
Just
that
Asher.
his
Oh, Asher. He probably did love Layla, but it's just that he didn't love nobody more than he loved himself. That the old Asher, he didn't love nobody more than he loved himself. So he had a version that he called love.
yes, exactly. He had a version that he called love. I don't know if I would call it love.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
definitely. I wouldn't call it love, but to
To
him, it was
him,
love. To
correct,
him,
correct,
yes.
correct. So anyway, but speaking about seeing things coming, even even Layla like seemed more bubbly in that scene. A lot of people called it chemistry.
No, that's familiarity. That was familiar with each other.
But it wasn't even only familiarity. I felt like it was like I when she saw Asher in her whole vein of nonverbal communication. I've been very vocal about how I think that Greta has been like killing it on the acting front, and everybody else too. But I like specifically been looking at how she's been portraying Layla, and I
Hmm.
was just like, she she's about to do something stupid. Like I just felt
I didn't think it was gonna be what it was though. I
I
did
didn't think
not
it was
see
gonna be
that.
what I mean, I actually no, I'm
I
not even
thought it
gonna
was gonna
lie
be
and
no
say I
more
didn't
than a
think it.
kiss. I thought it was gonna
No,
be no more
I
than a kiss.
no, I saw this coming from a mile away because if you go like even think I just did a recent podcast on her and her character, and I was just like, she is upset right now in the show,
Hmm.
right? She's trying not to let it show. She's put back on this facade, right? That everything is okay. But she's really in real life very upset at Coop. She's pissed at Coop. She's still very recently gone through this crazy thing that she went
Hmm.
through. And she now, like, I looked at that as I was just like, now she's like trying to seem like she's all excited to be around Asher because he's a person.
Just see the person. Wait, what?
Yes, I'm because she will take just being around people.
Except last episode, she didn't really want to be around anybody.
No, I know, but like that's why I'm saying she was regressing. She was going back to her. I'll be around people for the sake of being around people. And obviously, it's different from being around a group of people than being around one person. So that's why I'm saying familiarity plays a hand in it. But to me, that was just like her wanting to feel better, and
You think?
yeah, to
I
me, that's
think
what it
it
was.
just I think it was just like, okay, she saw Asher. It was just like I said, familiarity, like, hey, she see he was doing bad, like just come with me. And I don't I don't know. You know what?
No,
I
I
don't know what to
definitely
make of that. I don't even have no explanation. Understanding. I don't have understanding. I don't have it. I don't have understanding for it. I don't
but
even
that's
have an
what
explanation. Like you see how you just came up with that whole thing, what you felt. I can't even
but
category. I don't
but
know.
that's what but I'm saying I didn't even just come up with that. I literally when I was watching this in real time, like on my
Mhm.
screen, usually it takes me to like whatever the second watch to think about this for a little bit. When I saw her in that cafe, I'm like, she's really upset at Coop. Like, what do we know about this character right now? She's really upset at Coop.
Mhm.
What is she about to do?
Even though she was upset with Coop, though, I think she also was after she signed the artist. She was happy.
Yeah, but this was before she signed the artist.
I think because I don't want to give it much thought. I don't much want to think what in the world was that. It's just like just forget about it. Can we not see it no more?
Because I was expecting it, even though I still think regression either way. But I was expecting it to be a random person who she slept with, to be honest. Would have preferred a random person.
It would have been too much to be a random person at this moment. It would have been too much.
I'm sure you're right. I was still very upset about it.
We didn't have any type of warning though. Like we didn't have like no warning from previous episodes. It just got thrown in there. Hmm.
But that's what I'm saying is it came out of nowhere. So even though, like, yes, familiarity at a very basic level, at this point, it might as well be a random person. Like, what, like, we have never seen their relationship look good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we
and so
haven't.
like so for this to just be a random storyline, that's why I'm like it does like it to your point, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to me like the act of what she did and like the timing at which she did it. I think that she anyway, whoever you put in this situation, she was going to sleep with somebody at the end of the episode. Just those are just my thoughts.
Mhm.
But the fact that it was Asher, I'm really just confused at why the writers did that.
Listen, I just like I said, there was no warning. It wasn't like we seen her and Asher have a previous conversation last episode. We
They
didn't see any
literally
type.
never
It
had
was just
conversations. They had like
no.
one conversation in the entirety of last season by
Yes.
themselves.
Yeah.
And that's because that's because literally at that point she wasn't really talking to anybody else because of the whole Spencer Hill situation. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like it could have been like the writers could have made it a random person and it worked. And like again, I think keep everything else, insert random person besides Asher. I just don't understand why they made. I honestly, and let me not even say I don't understand why they made it Asher. I think that they made it Asher. Oh, just
No,
for shock value.
and they trying to just throw us off. We still believe in Jordala. We're not falling for it.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah, no,
falling
no, no.
for it.
I still think Jordana. And by the way, that's another reason why I'm upset because then they're just giving credence to the audience who doesn't even like Layla the majority of the time. If they're trying to make this character likable or relatable, it they're just not doing her any favors. Is what I'm saying.
She's gonna be all right. She'll survive it. I mean, if
Oh, yeah, of course she's gonna survive it. I'm just I
yeah,
wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan, especially because Asher's just not a great person in general. So I don't want to. I didn't
he's
even want to
better.
see Vanessa,
No, he's better. I definitely
Carmen,
need Vanessa to come clean her man. But
Carmen,
no, Asher
Carmen,
is a lot from season one. Asher, he is no. You're gonna give Asher his brownie points. He is
Carmen,
better. He is. He's not better.
Carmen.
I
He
didn't say
was
he was great.
Carmen.
I said better.
Pause, Carmen. Carmen. Pause.
Okay.
Because an episode ago, he was searching for liquor in the baker's house,
Mhm.
knowing that very recently Olivia had relapsed.
But he wasn't even thinking. You see, as soon as Coop said it,
But
he was
that's what
like,
I'm
"Dang, you're right."
saying. He's still not thinking. And so, yes, he is better, but he's still not a good
He's
guy.
better. He's better.
He's
I
better.
mean,
That's not saying anything because he was
I
trash
said
before.
my argument was he was a better Asher in the next last season than he was the first. That was the
The
argument.
the
I didn't
bar
say he
the
was
bar is
great.
in the grave. The
I
bar
just
is
said
in the
give him his
grave for
point.
Asher.
If
The
he
bar
if
is in the grave
if he moved up
for
to
Asher.
1.5 Asher, give him his points.
Now, I will say I appreciated that line. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. What were your thoughts on her saying yeah, like celebratory sex between friends, uh blah 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 blah. Like that whole explanation that she gave when he said, "Should we talk about this?"
Really, Lexi, you wanna know what I thought about it? You know what I thought about that. I thought about the script. I thought about the script, but we're not gonna talk about it on the podcast. You know what I thought. Why would you do that to me? Well, why would you do that to me? You know what I thought about that. It sounded too familiar. It sounded too familiar. No, do not do this to me on this podcast.
It's it's like that meme where somebody's like crying but smiling.
No.
No,
No.
no, no, but actually, I did not know that you were going to say that. I was genuinely asking, but um, but here's my thoughts because I also saw some commentary around Layla and Nami sort of like brushing off sex, and this is actually something I feel like in conversations like with our group chat. We've talked about this quite a bit in how Layla tends to react when she's like um hooking up with somebody or whatever. It's like to Spencer, right? When they first slept together, she was just like, "Oh, I know what that was." You know, you blocking out the noise, etc., etc., etc. And
Mhm.
here's the thing: it's like sex is a taboo topic, but also, uh, in the mind of these characters, I really think that it can mean not much to them, given Like get to these characters. I mean, like sex can mean not much and it can mean a lot. And I think that's evidenced by the conversation that Spencer and Olivia have in the show,
Mhm.
right? Like different
Yes.
things to different people. And so I think that she was being truthful, right, when she brushed off that encounter because I truly don't think it meant that much to her. I truly don't think it did.
I don't either. No,
Um
it didn't.
yeah, and I trust her in that moment. But I do acknowledge that in other times when it has meant a lot, aka maybe like last season, episode 1, when she brushed it off, that hasn't been the case. But it is interesting that they keep having her say these sorts of things like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I think this might be the one time she actually told the truth that it wasn't a big
But that's
deal.
what I'm saying. I'm like, I think
Yeah.
this is the only time that you told the truth
Yes.
since we've heard that statement. But yes, to that point, it is an interesting conversation. But I do think that it didn't mean anything to her this time.
Mhm.
Um, which it should have just been a random person, and I'm gonna leave it.
Leave it right there. Yes. On to the next. Go ahead.
Sorry, on to the next. We're getting to Spencer and Olivia, and the wonderful storyline, the bright spot of the episode.
Yes. Bolivia. Ding
um,
ding 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 ding.
it's Olivia. And like I said, we got Spencer and Grace talking about Olivia for the first time, which was
Let's
encouraging
can
because
can we take a moment of silence for that? Because when a boy talks to his mother about you.
and this is also something that we've wanted to see, right?
Mhm.
Like we have been robbed, and I'm gonna say that, like we've been robbed of people's reactions to Spencer and
Yes.
Olivia, and
Yeah.
a ton of people acting like it wasn't a big deal. And granted, like when they got together, there was a whole lot else going on.
Yes.
But it as an audience member, I didn't like going down that route because it was like a big deal to a huge swath of the audience watching the show. And so for us to like not see that, especially considering that we didn't get the Vegas fallout like we expected, it was nice to finally see Spencer have a conversation about somebody about
And
Olivia.
yeah, and back to your point, I guess we're not getting absolutely nobody reaction. The only person reaction we got, and a really one reaction was I about to say the freshly bakers, but was
Jordan
Jordan
and
and
Simone,
Simone. That was it.
right, right, right. And they like didn't even think anything up. Which again, it's like, how could you not think any? Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. But
What?
yes, so
What?
we finally got Grace's reaction. She said this very curious phrase. She said, "Oh, there's like heat on your cheeks for Miss Olivia Baker, and I haven't seen you act this way, blah blah blah,
Since
since like
middle school.
middle
She said, I
school."
haven't seen no heats on your cheek since middle school.
I'm
Yes.
like,
She said what she said. She said what
okay,
she
ma'am.
said. She said
Okay,
what she
ma'am.
said. She said
And
what she
I want
said.
to know who that person in middle school was. Like, where is
I
she
it,
at? What is she
it's
doing?
part it's probably the girl that he said when she said I told you that to just get you over her or something like that.
Oh, right, right. Which, by the way, I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring this up. Uh, I had a prediction that I didn't even know was a prediction at the time, but I predicted a line of dialogue.
Elaborate.
Because there was very curious joke that was made on the show when we found out Spencer's middle name, right? Spencer Alonzo James, which Alonzo was an
Lonzo.
interesting
Lonzo.
middle name for him.
Yes. Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, man, like my full government name? Oh,
Mhm.
that sounds familiar." And if you want
It
to know what
did.
I'm talking about,
It
just
did.
go look at an All American fan event. I don't even remember what it's called. May I'll link it in the description box. Because I made a very similar joke. Obviously, it's not my joke though. It's just a universal joke. But I'm just saying, I made the joke. I would just
Mhm.
like to ask the writers, hey writers, when did you write that joke in?
Was it inspired? You just want to know if it was inspired. Okay.
I just want to know if I inspired it because that's cool, you know. If they were like, haha, that's funny, let's put that in the show. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But it was funny to see that in the show. I was like, I
Mhm.
literally did a double take, was sitting and watching. I was like,
We got Spencer middle name. We know
literally,
Spencer.
well,
You
not
know.
even we got Spencer's middle name, but it was like the way in which he said it too. Like my full, didn't he say my full government name out here? It's word for word.
I can't remember. I can't remember if he said out here.
If he said, I have to go back and look at that. But if he said out here, I will laugh even harder. Anyway, so yeah, we got him talking to Grace. Before that, we got him talking to Olivia, and he didn't, he was talking to Olivia because he wanted to check in with her before he made his decision about Toledo and all of that stuff. And she was just like, saying, "Of course you should take this opportunity." It's just like, "Oh, I forgot you were a coach's daughter," and it's like, where?
He just forget her knowledge of football. You
Oh,
know. That's
he
all.
does, but like, but people have to put respect on Olivia Baker's name because she knows a lot about football.
Yeah, I think he just forget. You can forget that she know. They just throw in moments where we reminded that she know. Like last time when they was doing the play. They just throw in moments
Yeah,
that
yeah.
remind us
No,
that
I
she
know. No,
know.
I thought it was cute. I like the line. I'm just saying, put some respect on her name. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. This is something that I have to add in. Is that my mom uh, was watching this particular scene. My mom, my mom was like, "Oh, just 2 weeks, so he's acting like they're not gonna be together after 2 weeks."
Oh
I kid
God.
you not. I kid
That
you not. She was
listen.
so annoyed at that
It
line. She
did.
walked away and did not return to the show.
It did sound that way. It did. It did sound
But
that way.
that's what I'm saying. She was like, she literally shook her. It was like the Viola Davis, like gathering my purse and leaving.
It did. It did sound that way.
He
It
did. He
did.
was just like, "Oh, we gonna spend every bit of these last 2 weeks." Like, oh, I didn't know that you were
Cause she.
like moving across the world, sir. I didn't know you were moving.
No,
I didn't
it
know
sounded
y'all were
like they
breaking
wasn't
up.
gonna be. Yeah, it sounded like they wasn't gonna be together after them 2 weeks. Okay, I was saying how he wanted to, let her know first. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute.
It was very cute.
Um, and for her, uh, they were just both it, to talk about like how well people have been, the actors have been playing these characters. Sam and Daniel are just eating this up. Like they're doing such a good job playing two teenagers in love for the first time. You know what I mean?
Definitely, they're killing it. They are serving it up. Yes.
They're serving it. And like the little dance that Sam did, um, when she was just like, I forget what he said, if he called her his girlfriend or something, I don't know. But it was just like, yes, I know, I'm good, I'm cool. I think it was after the coach's comment, or I forgot you were coach's daughter, but she did a little
Yeah, that's what
shoulder
she
dance. It was
did.
so
She
funny.
did.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, she it's just like cute things like that where they're just like they're really leaning into it, and I'm so happy because uh, I yeah, Sam has talked about how she wants to see what Olivia is like in this state and with somebody that she wants, and so I'm so glad that we're getting to see this. And yeah, it's been a really good couple episodes seeing them together. Also seeing them play like the nervousness of this all, right? She talked to Nurse Joy about when is a good time to sleep with someone as you're going through recovery and as you're holding on to your sobriety and etc. And Nurse Joy was just like, You're just nervous. This has nothing to
Yes,
do with your
like
sobriety.
exactly. Like you're just nervous. It has nothing to do with you're making it about that, but it's not really about that. You're just nervous.
Exactly, and you're trying to put days on it and etc etc, but it's just you're just in love, and you're just in love. And here's the thing: the beginning of her scene with Nurse Joy, I wasn't happy
Why? What happened?
because it just felt like they were trying like they. Why are we just talking about Olivia's sobriety when it comes to Spencer? Or you know what I mean? Like the whole thing started because Nurse Joy was asking like you know what we're talking about today, right? And she was just like, well, Spencer's leaving, and she was just like, oh, are you like worried? Are you feeling? And she admitted she was just like, no, I feel stronger. I'm happy for him, etc., etc., etc. But it's just
Mhm.
like, can we just get Olivia on a regular day when it's like not a big moment for Spalivia as a unit? Can we see Olivia on a regular day having this conversation?
Got it. So
You
you're
know what I
saying like,
mean?
can we have her a conversation about her sobriety that's not tied to Spencer,
Yes, literally.
or Spencer's not popping up or something? Yeah.
Exactly, and I was about to say exactly where he's not popping up. Like the last time they had a conversation, Spencer popped up, and so it's just like, why are we only getting Nurse Joy with this add-on that Spencer is somehow like connected to the story? As they continue to explore her sobriety journey, I would like to see it just happen on a random day.
Gotcha.
That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say on that. But yeah, so they end up going on this cute date at the arcade.
Super cute. Super cute.
So
And wait,
cute.
can I take a moment to give Spencer his points that he knew better to listen to Liv when she said, "No, you don't have to cancel."
Right,
Two
and he
times
just
for you to
canceled.
know that she was not being honest. Thank God Spencer knew that.
Facts, facts. I'm not even finna lie though. If it was me, I would have been like, let's go eat and then let's go to the arcade.
Well, she wasn't. She didn't want to go
I
eat.
know, I know she wasn't. I'm not Olivia. I understand. But
Yeah.
did you see those pictures of that restaurant? Like,
Listen, and he put his heart and soul into it.
but
But
also the
when she,
pictures of the restaurant, it looked like they had really good food.
I'm done. I'm done.
No, I'm like
Oh God.
I'm a bit of a foodie, and so I was just like, I kind of wanted to see what was happening. Anyway, the arcade was cute. Actually, her outfit was really, 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 really nice too. And
Someone on
the
Twitter
twist.
says
Can we just?
she loves her animal prints. She loves
She
her cheaters.
does. She. Let me not because I'm trying to compliment her outfit. So
I'm done. Don't you dare come for Olivia. Don't you dare. No, it is
listen, I
not
love her.
allowed. It's not
She's my
allowed.
favorite character. She's my favorite character, but
It's not
I'm not.
allowed.
I'm not. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave
Yes.
it there. That her outfit were cute. The twists were popping. She was on point today, and she has been on point in the past. For the most part. So anyway, they go into the arcade. Oh, they have this little joke about Papa Shot, like the little basketball game, and Spencer tries to come for her about her basketball skills, and she's just like,
Hmm.
"Mm."
Did she
Their
beat him?
banter.
Did she beat him in everything? Did she?
I
Did she
think
beat him?
everything except skee ball.
I thought she wanted that too, but maybe she didn't.
Here's the thing. The only reason I'm saying everything except skee ball is because I think we only saw him do skee ball. Because she was just like around him when he was doing skee ball
Oh,
and
I thought
cheering
she
for
was doing
him.
it too. I thought she was doing it too.
I think I saw her do it maybe once, but I just saw more of him, so I'm like, oh, I guess that's the game he won. But yeah, she
Oh,
demolished him,
yes,
demolished him in
especially,
multiple games.
yes.
Have you noticed this? When there's like super just you know when Spencer doesn't sort of know what to say or like he's in thoughts, like Daniel just goes back into his British accent.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice.
He definitely the British accent definitely came out in the basketball in the Papa Shot basketball game, like when he
Uh
was just
huh.
like, "Oh, you a robot," and yeah, it was just cute. And no, they were not in this kids children's little place.
They was having fun. That's all
make
that
it
matters.
make it
Oh,
out in
in
the
the
photo
booth.
booth and
Yes.
the curtain wasn't even draw, like at least draw the curtain.
They
But we
was
know they
they
were the
was
only
in
ones there. I did not see a single soul.
remember she said like she think they closed the place because they mean they didn't leave to probably the place was closing. So yeah, they probably was the only one there.
What that's telling me is that Spencer lied about the reservation and he really just rented out the arcade.
That's what you're gonna take it as. I'm done.
That's what I'm gonna take it as.
Oh god.
No, I'm kidding. But it was just an adorable day. The photos at the photo booth were so. This is the scenes that you want. These are the
Yes,
scenes that
we
we've
got
been waiting for.
we got Olivia overload. We got Olivia
We did.
overload. Yes.
Maybe this is a generational thing. But the phrase
What?
"making love" is so cheesy.
How? How is it? How is it? It was not cheesy. If it when it comes to the level of love, they're in
I
love. So it's
understand. I get it. I get it. I do, and I'm like, I respect it.
so what word you want to have say have sex?
No, I mean they don't have to say it like that, but I mean it's just
No,
like
but
I don't know.
I think the reason for choosing the word making
No,
love
I
is
get no.
because
I loved the line itself because I agree. I think that was like very appropriate for the conversation that they were having and for the feelings that they both had, like the feelings that these two characters had towards each other, and ascribing meaning like we talked about earlier.
yeah, that's what I was
That
gonna
being
say.
said,
I think the main goal was to separate all their other sex encounter. You know what I'm saying? It was like to
yeah,
give
yeah,
more
yeah. No,
meaning to yeah.
I loved it for the characters. As a person, I still thought it was cheesy.
I think it was the first time they actually said it though in the show. I don't remember any other time that they said it in All American.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I was just
Hmm.
like. It's funny. It's funny to me. Um, and they talked about how it was. This was going to be different, and that it wasn't going to be now, right? But they were going to wait for it.
And she finished the sentence. We haven't got that in a while. We haven't got that in a while. She finished the sentence with the word different. It was like I was like, oh, we haven't
Right,
got her
right.
finish the sentence in a while.
Yeah, yeah. And still some of their cute banter, like him being like, "Oh, what do you say? I've been with chicks, or I've slept with chicks, or whatever he said before." Um,
Yes. And she
and she
was
was just
like,
like,
you was doing
"You were
so
doing
well.
so well." That
Yes.
was a typical. That was definitely a guy moment.
Yes.
Um, uh,
I don't
and
have you ever
I
used the word chicks? I think I never heard him
yeah,
use chicks
that
before.
was really okay. Can we talk about that? Because I don't know. It was interesting that he said that because he doesn't usually talk like that. You know what I mean? It was just weird. Yeah, what did he say though that like was not funny at all that made Olivia laugh really hard?
Oh, that he made dessert.
Oh yeah, like
That he made dessert. And then he was like, my bundt cakes are real. The butter is that was funny when he was like, my butter is
but she
real.
was like just when he said I made desserts and she laughed so hard. I'm like,
Because
for what?
I'm not sure she really believed it because she was like, if there really is, like if there really is a cake or
Right.
dessert. So
No, I
maybe she
know.
was
I
like,
know.
no.
What was I gonna say? Yes, but dessert. Now tell me why. Tell me why, because I at first when I saw this, I was just like, so I'm assuming they didn't have dessert because Spencer or like I was so confused as like why the chocolate cake came back up in the last scene. And I'm like, so I'm assuming they didn't have dessert and that Spencer actually like left this date to go get the ring.
Yeah, he actually listen, that was another thing. I was like, so Billy messed up the
It's
date.
more important. Exactly.
He
I'm like,
messed up the date. Like he
I
messed
don't
up
know
the
if I
date.
found that like believable. You know what I mean? I don't know if Spencer would just like drop at the just stop. You know what I mean? Like
I think he would because I don't think it was specified what he wanted, in the text. So obviously it's like he's calling us to the school. He probably just thought it was a school thing, which it was. and he knows Billy's not talking to him, so it's like, okay, this got to be important. This is this time of night, and he's calling us to
Sure,
to.
sure. I'll give it to him.
Not sure. I'm done.
Chris and Jabari did not think it was important enough to show up.
Listen, how they didn't have either one, Chris or Jabari. We had all of these other players. They was like, I'm not getting up my bed. It was like, I'm not getting up my bed.
Truly, truly. Um, but yeah, so he was talking about how he had dessert, and then I just the last scene, I thought that they were gonna, I think I knew that Jordan was, I had heard that Jordan might have been in this scene like randomly, but when it actually came on my screen, like the scene with the cake, I was like, I don't know. To me, it was like awkward. I'm like, why aren't they on the porch or something eating this cake? They're literally just chilling in the kitchen while like
It wasn't awkward. It
Montez
wasn't
and
awkward.
Montez and Jordan, but they were like, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, I'm not
Maybe they
want
was
to be
there
around.
before.
Maybe I
Yeah.
maybe I'm just like not one for like PDA, and so like if I was there, I'm like, you don't want to like take that somewhere else.
Listen, maybe they was there first. Maybe he brought it over because they
Granted,
didn't get it
but
the night
also like
before.
Montez, like they've literally never shared. I just found it odd. Like they're just sitting on the couch,
He brought it over for Liv. He brought it
and that
over for
makes. And
Liv.
he could have brought. They could have had it on the little patio situation. I don't know why,
No, they was
or at
waiting on
least,
Billy to tell the
or
news.
okay, or at least, Montez and Jordan could have went out on the patio.
It wasn't like I don't think it was like actually like a special moment. It was just one of those. Okay, we didn't get a chance to have the cake. Look, I brought the cake.
It was
Even
just
though,
weird. It was. I know. You will never not convince me that that scene wasn't
listen,
weird because it
and
was
you
weird.
already know you're not messing with my Olivia Island right now. You
I'm
shut
not
up.
messing with it. I still
I'm
like.
just
It's
messing with
nice
you.
that they
No,
have
I'm
the.
messing with you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It
Like,
was
why wasn't that
weird.
a intimate moment between them? I get what you're saying.
Exactly. It was just weird. It's just odd. Well, especially because like it's different if it's like Laura or like people that they know, right? But they don't know. Like neither Spencer or Olivia know Montez like that. So it's just even still like when I tried to like make myself believe the scene when I was just like, oh, I guess Montez is there. Like she's dropping off the playbook to Spencer as well. But I'm like, how did she even know that Spencer is there? He doesn't live there anymore. Oh
I
my
guess
god.
somebody had a conversation before, and maybe that's why when Spencer was coming over. I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said at the top, the episode, besides the Spillovia date and Jordan's storyline, felt a little incomplete to me. Um, and that was one of the reasons. Like, you know what I mean? If there were just certain scenes that was just like it doesn't all the way make sense.
I don't know. I was house Olivia.
And as you should be, as you should be. Thanks for listening to Film Study and All American Podcasts. Stay tuned for predictions.